Coach, how has Bryn looked as far as his recovery?
I think he looked, better. He's probably about 80% in the spring, and I think he's 100% now watching. But they're all running in their underwear the last couple of days, so they put shoulder pads on tomorrow. That'll separate some of the. I always laugh because all these 4 or 5 guys end up running 4.9 with pads on. They put the brakes on a little bit, but I think the big thing is that. When you look at the running backs, I think Bryn has the best opportunity because he's a kid that has the best vision. And I think he's like all the good running backs I've seen in college and the pros. They get into the hole and make the cut. And that's what, like last year, I thought Latavius was cutting too soon and linebackers were scraping, making plays. They learned to get into the hole and make the cut. He made all those guys miss. That's why I think he emerged. And I think Bryn has that already. Now, again, I want to see him in full contact speed and see where it's at, but what I see him in the first couple of days where without pads, he has his speed back. And I think, with that goes his vision, and that makes guys miss. That's what you're looking for.
After the bowl win and then the recruiting class you had, was that a strong indication that that the reputation from this team, this university is developing now a reputation for football and can become a destination for these kids?
Well, you're talking about recruiting?
The recruiting class.
Yeah, we've done well recruiting. We're knocking on the same doors as everybody else, and I think we still get kids to come on campus, and even coaches in the state that haven't been up here, and they walk on campus, and it's still somewhat of a wow factor. Because you come on campus, facilities, everybody has the same facilities, but I think the key here is the efficiency of it. Everything's within 100 yards. Where you live, where you work out, where you lift weights, where you eat. That's big. Everybody has it, but maybe a mile that way, a mile the other way. So, that's time management. And we built this with the whole purpose of efficiency and time management, and I think the kids understand that. But recruiting is going well. I do look at academics, and I don't just give out scholarships. I want to make sure, as I tell the kids, that you graduate. And there's some kids that want to come here that I just question if I can graduate them. I grade kids academically blue, gold, red, which means you have a certain GPA, you're a blue player, an SAT score. If you have one of the two, you're gold. If you have neither, you're red. I've added another color, orange. That's below the red. Some of the grades really need to pick up as far as what I'm looking at. But I'm going to make sure that we get the kids in here that can graduate and still win football games for us. That's what's important to me. And we have a lot of kids. I've been slow on taking verbals because I think we have a priority list that I want to see where some of these other kids are going, not just take somebody because they want to come.
Coach, I know you're not in the marketing, but there was a story last week about getting the fans in the stadium earlier. What's it going to take to get the city of Orlando behind the program?
Well, it's funny. I had to speak down in the Orlando Rotary the other night, and it was mostly a lot of old people down there. And as I said, if I had to make some money and open up a business, I'd open up a funeral home. The age factor down there, but they were mostly Gators and Seminole fans. And I said that you didn't be a Gator at night, and I wasn't begging. I was just saying they're all football fans, and they can't go to every game, and that we're the hometown team and looking for support. And again, everybody runs with it was not by any means begging anybody to come here. I was not going to change anybody's mind from who they're rooting for. I just think you're the hometown team. And I think tradition, I see it, we're still young in a lot of areas in the fan base from a maturity standpoint. And I think we've improved, there's no question. And I think as we start getting the kids who've been to 3 years or 4 years of games here and they start graduating, and they're your next season ticket holders. And I think that's what takes time. And because I think a game day Saturday here they seem to be having fun. I go by with the buses with the team, and there's a lot of people out there. We just gotta make sure they get into the stadium on time and go from there. And, you know, I think there's a lot of things that have to take place with that to happen, but again, you know, I think it helped. I look at it because I did the one stat, which made sense to me. I only keep 4 stats when I look at them. One is first quarter scores. And I took a statistic from 2006 to 2010, and we were 27-4 when we're leading the first quarter, and we're 7-20 when we're not leading the first quarter. Which so I think it's important when the kids come out that there's a full house there behind the team, because they react to that. I mean, if no one was there, I'd still play the game. But
Limiting full contact practices, what are your thoughts on a conference coming down and limiting their schools on how many full contact practices they can have because of concussions?
the Ivy League did that, right?
Yeah. Do you think other conferences will end up doing that?
I think you gotta be smart in how you contact. I mean, the only time we have full contact is when we're scrimmaging. Otherwise, I segment it out, and, you know, I understand that most of the time we're involved, it's thud, nobody to the ground, stay off the ground type of thing. That's where your injuries occur from. But, you know, I think more time needs to be spent basically, you know, teaching tackling, teaching blocking, so you're not using your head. And that's why with spring ball and the shortening of spring ball, we used to be able to get that done. We have more days to do it. Now everybody's in a rush to get schemes in, and I think it's affected. That has an effect on these injuries, because you're not spending as much time on tackling and blocking as you would, because you're so worried about getting these other things in because of the shortened days. But, you know, we're going to spend every day on some phase of tackling and blocking and doing it right fundamentally, and hopefully they keep their heads out of there. But football's a game that, you know, if you're going to tackle, you know, it's very difficult to tackle without your head involved. They just got to learn to keep their heads up and make sure they know the point of contact and things of that sort. But I don't know if I'd want to coach if they eliminated contact. I mean, I'd go to 7-on-7 league and travel with some passing team or something. But I don't see that.
What about the multi-year scholarships, full cost scholarships, everybody?
See, I think that the kids should get cost of attendance. I think that's the least that we can do as a school, which is really, I think it helps the athletes out, because they can't work, they can't do the things, say, some other students can do, but you're going to say, well, they're on full scholarship, though. But I think cost of attendance is, because I like that because there's a formula for that already. Every school has a formula, so you wouldn't be getting out of whack. I would not be in favor of paying kids per se, because, I mean, $50 in Orlando compared to $50 in New York, it doesn't go, New York don't go as far, so it's not equal. And I think your cost of attendance is already a formula for it, that the schools know what it is, and you're probably averaging probably $2,000 to $3,000 more in a scholarship, which would help some of the kids as far as, you know, going out on a weekend or something like that. But you got to remember too, I would say 30% of your team is probably on the Pell Grant, which, you know, they can get up to what, $5,500. That's $600 a month. So I mean, there's a little more money involved there, but I would hate to say pay the kids. I think cost of attendance would be a plus. I think most schools, and I'm not talking out of turn, but I think most schools could handle that, whether you're BCS or not. I think the other way, I think, what is enough money to pay the kid? I think you already have a formula, just use it.
What about the multi-year?
We used to be 4-year scholarships. I was coaching this long now, and I think the 1-year renewables, if a school's abusing it and cutting kids and stuff of that sort, that's why you have an athletic administration to make sure that's not being done. So right now, the only way you cannot get rid of a kid because he's not good enough. I mean, but, you know, a lot of these kids that, you know, I don't know if that's being done or not. I know we don't do it. A lot of kids get themselves in trouble in other areas, but I don't think multi-year scholarships is the answer. I really don't. It wasn't the answer when we were giving away 4-year scholarships. A kid would quit and sit there and be could do nothing about it. That's not the answer.
Anything further? Thank you, Ken.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Everyone could break down, move up to the field house, we have our
And
players.
no, I got one more thing.
Okay.
I got one more thing. I did put a list out of 25 kids to talk to, right? It's pretty much the players on the team, all right? And the only reason I did that is because most of the other kids really aren't ready for the press. And I think that's a learning situation and all that, and I will adjust that list, when the season starts, and more kids will be available to you to help you out and all that type of thing. I did ask one of the people who asked me when I do retire, what do I want to do? I told him I want to be an announcer. So I can't wait to get into the stadium, and I may only get one gig, all right? But I can't wait to announce there's another missed tackle by Johnny Blowhard. His parents are sitting in section 100, seats 10 and 11. And pretty much there's another drop pass by Johnny Weekends. His parents are in section 203, seats 11 and 12. I think we'd change the whole atmosphere of the stadium. I really would. I won't get another job after that, but we've done enough damage with that to satisfy everybody. With that, have a good week.
Maybe people will get there in the first quarter just to hear you. Maybe a good strategy.